Hello, today we're going to talk about kind of an overview of the course and also going to talk about an introduction to the American legal system. So let's dive into it as we move forward here. Um, I've posted a separate video biography of myself. I did want to share with you one somewhat of a compliment that I received from a colleague. It is with a group in New York. Give you a moment to read that. And make of it what you think. I think she was complimenting me, but who knows? So who are you? Well, we have talked about that you're going to be posting a video on our discussion board about a little bit about yourself so that your classmates have a better understanding and I have a better understanding of who you are. Um, what are we going to cover in this course? Well, we're going to cover medical ethics, and we'll talk about some distinctions between the term bioethics and medical ethics that will be important. We're also going to talk a lot about the law and the regulations that affect healthcare providers. Um, as some people have talked about, healthcare is supposedly the second most regulated industry in America. I would suggest that it's probably the most regulated industry. The first used to be nuclear energy. With all of the regulations that continue to flow towards healthcare, I think we're number one with a bullet these days. We're going to talk a little bit also about ethics and law as they intersect, which to help you better understand how laws come to be made, kind of the reference points of what creates them on a little bit deeper level than it's just a legislator's whim. So let's dive in. How we're going to learn in this class, we're going to have, of course, traditional sorts of projects of reading and writing and those sorts of things. Um, I'm going to supplement the books with a number of articles that are posted on Blackboard, and it's important that you check Blackboard for each of the modules to assure that you're covering everything that is important in this class. We'll have these lectures that are recorded, and I apologize for the video quality of them. I appreciate that a 5-year-old with an iPhone may do better some days, but we will do our best to make them as informative and as mercifully short as possible for each of the modules. We'll have a bit of experiential learning, which is our new term for you doing things. That will include the presentation that will be videotaped. As you'll see in the syllabus, the goal is for you to tape a presentation on a topic that you're passionate about. The goal is for that to be no more than 18 minutes. It can be any length that you like, but of course you need to cover the topic in some depth. And the goal of the presentation is to be similar to a TED Talk. Not only should you identify a problem, but you should bring a solution to that problem and make people want to get up and do something. So bring your passion, bring your energy, use whatever creative aspects you like as part of that. Some of you might say, why are we doing this? Well, as a leader in healthcare, you're going to be asked to do a number of presentations, many of them live, more and more of them on video. And the goal is for you to be sure that you are developing some comfort in doing that. We'll be having discussions in the class discussion board. I appreciate that they aren't quite as interactive and as dynamic as they are in person in a classroom, but I think you'll benefit from the aspects and perspectives that your classmates bring to your postings. Last but not least, we'll be doing a paper in this class. This paper will be again, a topic that you're passionate about. I will not be assigning topics. It's entirely up to you. The goal is for you to write a paper as a kind of a start on a publication. We appreciate that due to the amount of time that this class will take and the energy that's going to take in a very short period of time, that you're not going to be able to really polish an article entirely for publication, but our goal is for you to get started. One of the things that's going to be important in your career is that you are published and recognized as a leader in your particular area. And so the criteria is, what topic are you passionate about? What problem are you identifying? What solution are you bringing to that problem? And it should be focused towards an audience of people that you want to be working with in the future. Whether that is someone leading a hospital, leading a healthcare system, health information management, process improvement, quality assurance, whatever that area is that's important to you, that's what your paper ought to be focused on. So both of the aspects of the presentation and the paper are intended to help you grow in the area that you're most passionate about. We'll have two books assigned as part of this. So the first is my textbook, Virginia Medical Law. Some of you may ask, why are we studying Virginia medical law? I live in Maryland, or I'm going to be working in California. And the answer is, well, most or much of healthcare regulation is at the state level. And so we've kind of got to pick one state to really be useful. Some courses, for example, when I went to law school, we would have what was referred to as a national legal education. That meant that we didn't study the law of any state. We studied the majority views and minority views, which didn't help us at all of really digging into topics. And so I'm going to take you kind of for a deep dive into state law. You'll find that whether you're working in Michigan or Illinois or Virginia, the laws are quite similar. There, of course, will be some nuances between states, but many of what we'll talk about crosses state boundaries. The second book we'll have is by Ivan Illich. That book, I hope, will torment you, will provoke you in many ways. It is an older book. I used it actually when I was studying medical ethics back in the early 1980s. But much of what he writes still is applicable today, despite all the things that we've done in the past 30 years. It is a difficult read, I will give you that. It is written in, at best, British English, and you will find that the footnotes are in 3 or 4 different languages. So it is intended to be a provocative look at healthcare and what that means to us as folks in the American healthcare system. So dive in. I look forward to your reactions to that book. Just as importantly, you'll find, of course, a number of articles that are posted to Blackboard. I've tried to post all of these as PDFs so that you can easily download them. Be sure that you check in each module to assure that you find those articles. There aren't a lot of them, but they are vitally important because they are really very current sort of observations on issues that are popping up in healthcare. We talked a little bit about your presentation, and so I won't recover that in detail, but again, it's a topic of your choosing. The presentation goal is for you to be presenting passionately about a solution to a problem that you've identified. It should be preferably a contemporary topic. You're welcome to look at something historic, but I'm not sure quite how you present the solution to that. The research is important. You'll see in the syllabus that you're required to submit your bibliography along with your presentation. And your solution needs to be well reasoned, not an emotional cry, but one that is well founded and practical. Inspiring is what we're looking for. You need to bring all the passion that you have to this project. You're not going to get it recorded the night before on one and done. You're going to need to work on your presentation a whole lot better than what this shabby job is. The goal is that you really bring forward one of your best presentations so that people want more when you're done. Your paper we've addressed in some detail. Again, you choose the topic. It has to be different than your presentation. So if you're interested in doing your paper on designer genes, and that's with a G, then your presentation has to be on a slightly different topic of some kind. It may be on assisted conception, but it can't be on designer genes. The goal, again, is for it to be a contemporary topic, well-researched, and a well-reasoned conclusion. And as I mentioned before, our goal is for this to be the first step towards you actually being published and moving your career forward. Our goal, you can see here, is that we want you to be moving along the timeline and the process of becoming one of the leaders in healthcare. And that is not only just by title, but in your education and in your skills going forward. That brings us to the conclusion of our introduction to the course. We'll be jumping into the next recording to talk about the American legal system.